Welcome back to another episode in my audiophile album reviews. This one will take a look at the 80s hit Vienna by Ultravox, the remix by Steven Wilson. If you don't know Steven Wilson, he's a prog rock musician. Played with bands such as Porcupine Tree. Now he releases his solo material, but he's made a real name for himself with these 5.1 and surround remixes of classic albums of yesteryear. Well, not so old as yesteryear. Shouldn't say that. Makes me sound old. But he's done everything from stuff like King Crimson, Yes, really proggy out there stuff, and even goes to something like this, Vienna, from 1980. And then you can really sense how it really does deserve a 5.1 mix. Heaps of effects, heaps of synthesizers. Really lends itself extremely well to a surround mix. If this stuff was around the 80s, I'm sure it would have been released in a surround mix. Probably the only real downside to it is that it's not released on Blu-ray. Even going a bit further, would have been great to hear it on Dolby Atmos, because there's just so much going on. Would have lent itself really well to a good Dolby Atmos mix. But that is a very minor complaint, because this 5.1 mix is up there with some of the best, and I've heard quite a few. This is really top-notch stuff. As you can see, first track going at the moment is a track called Astrodome. This starts off pretty cool. It's got a sweeping sound from front to rear. Really lush keyboard sound up front. I've got some notes here. You can see me looking down. I've got some notes. I write down little notes as I listen to it. And then, as throughout this whole album, it's got all the effect keyboards and synth work is in the rear speakers. Next we'll go to New Europeans. This starts off pretty cool. This starts off with it's got the effects and the quiet. It's got effects in the chorus, and these just bounce all around the room. Very cool sounding. This is the first track with vocals on it. The previous track was instrumental only, so it starts off with the instrumental, which is a pretty brave thing to do, but it works quite well. Next track after this is Private Lives. This has got a really cool piano sound straight away. The piano's in the surround straight away, so you've got some, pretty good surround speakers. It just makes it sound brilliant. And then the bass and drums come up strong in front, and it really takes your breath away. And then we go back to the keyboards and the synthesizer work back around the room and in surrounds and all over the place. Cool stuff. Next track we have, I believe it's another one of their hits, Passing Strangers. Once again, backing vocals, tends to be quite common in these sort of mixes. They do the backing vocals in the surrounds, or in your rear speakers, but then that's got a very cool keyboard synth break which comes in the rears as well, so that mixes with the front speakers and makes for a pretty good effect. Now next track, which is called Sleepwalk. I was absolutely mesmerised with this track, not so much for its standout surround sort of effects and trickery and that sort of thing, but just a cool track, and you get sucked right into it. So Steven Wilson's done a fine job with this one, not to make it sort of gimmicky, but just mixed perfectly, so it gives you that really lush sound. Next we'll go to Mr. X. Probably my lesser liked track on this album. Reminds me a lot of the German band Kraftwerk. That sort of strong techno sort of feel to it. not sort of one of my favourites. So we'll move along to the next track, which is Western Promise. Now this one I've got a fair few little pointers in this one, so there must have been a fair bit going on, which there was. Yeah, first start off was a really cool drumming sound. I believe that the drummer of this band was a pretty awesome drummer, and that really stands out in this one. So you got some cool drums at the front, and they also pan around to the rear as well. Then you got the synth effects in the rear, so you got the drums circling in the room, then your synth effects in the rear, and then drums coming again around the room, and then there's another pretty awesome synth break that comes with that, and that's just circling around. That's probably one of the better ones on it, until you come to the next one, which is the big hit, Vienna. Now this one, I just cranked up loud straight away. This is just incredible. You know, we've all used to this back in the 80s, hearing on the radio, on probably your mono radio in your dad's car we're driving around, or on a TV with one little tiny speaker in it. So that's what you're sort of used to hearing it on. And then all of a sudden you hear it on mixed in a surround sound mix when you finally got a decent stereo set up, and then a surround set up, and wow, takes your breath away. So yeah, as I got my notes, it's just, as I just said, absolutely epic sounding. Just stuff going on in the rears, piano up front, and as I've said just here, it just requires to be turned up loud. Awesome. So great track. Now the next song was a bit surprising. That was pretty cool as well. All stood still. Wasn't really familiar with this track. I was only 8 years old when this came out originally, so I was only really familiar with the big hit Vienna. But this one, pretty cool song as well. It's got the backing vocals in the rears, and plus all the keyboard and little effect sounds, and then it comes in for a bit of a rock guitar sound on it, which is a welcome change from the previous sort of techno-y, synthy sort of sounds. And I've actually got rid of my notes. This is a great test track to a good test track to test your surround sound system. Impress friends when they come over, because there's heaps going on in surrounds in this one. So Stephen Wilson, top-notch job on this one. So that's the basic album covered. It's actually a pretty good album. Never really heard much of the whole album in full, and this is why these surround sound mixes are so good, because it makes you listen to the whole album. So it gets you right into it. So you really just want to listen for that next little cool little mixing bit that they've done. What they've done to the next track. What they done here. So exciting stuff. The next three tracks, I'm guessing, are bonus tracks, or they might have been B-sides on singles. So yeah, they're not too bad. I suppose after Vienna and All Still Still, it's hard to sort of live up to those tracks. So a little bit of a come down, but well, for example, the next one's called Waiting, and that's still a pretty cool track. It's more of an atmospheric sort of track. Got a big bass sound, so you could really turn this one up and test your subwoofers out. And then we go to Passionate Reply. A bit of a classic new wave sound to that one. Nothing really sort of outstanding, but just a pretty cool track. And then we go to Alice Clyde. That's how you pronounce it. Not too sure. Haven't got much written down in the notes there. It's a instrumental track. As I said, a little bit of a letdown after those two great ending tracks on the main album, Vienna and All Still Still. So, how would I rate this all in all? I'd definitely give it a 2 thumbs up. There you go. Easily 9 out of 10. Probably only lose a point for not being on Blu-ray, I suppose. And as I said, would have made a great Atmos mix. But I can't complain too much because it comes with the Stephen Wilson name, which bumps up the rankings much higher. So Stephen Wilson, well done. Yeah, please, can you? I beg, Stephen Wilson, please, can you make some more remixes of classic '80s albums, especially these sort of ones where there's just so much going on. Lends itself brilliantly to surround mix. So definitely worth a purchase, this one. Okay, well, thank you. I'll catch you later and see you with my next review. Make sure you, if you like it, of course, I'm not going to force you to, hit the like button, subscribe, and yeah, wait for my next release. Thank you very much. Bye.